Hey everyone, Emmanuel here. The next series of videos you're going to see is dedicated to the practice of breathing. And I can tell you without any question, majority of people that I come across do not breathe very well. Okay, now I'm not going to go into a big long spiel about why it's important. Anybody that comes to a Systema class or has trained in any athletic performance understands how important it is. And breathing is not one thing. Breathing is a variety of things depending on what you're doing. So I'll leave it like that. And like I said, the next series of videos, I'll talk to you and explain to you the different ways of breathing and also how to develop your breathing so that it brings awareness and it also brings some strengthening and those kind of things to the breath. Now, it really is quite simple. There's three aspects. There's an inhale, an exhale, and a breath hold. Now, the inhale is ideally done through the nose, okay? And then an exhale is ideally done through the mouth. And breath holds, while not ideal, so that's one of those things that teach us what not to do, are sometimes essential. Underwater, in a smoke-filled room, in martial arts if somebody's choking you. I mean, there are moments where we need to operate without a breath. Okay, and try to remember, it's not just bad things that can take our breath, okay? It's also wonderful things take our breath. So we just need to be aware of when our breath goes, because in many cases, when talking to students, they're unaware that they're holding their breath. So part of breath training is to make you aware, be present while you're doing it, as well as when you're not doing it, okay? So inhale, exhale, and the breath hold, and there's some combinations in there that I will talk to you about in the next series of videos. Just remember, breathing is so simple, and in its beauty, that's what it's about. I don't want to overly complicate it. I want you guys to have a series of videos that you can watch and fall back on and increase your practice time, because we're all limited with how many times we can come a week and train in Systema. But if we practice breathing, as one of the aspects, we can really practice 24 hours a day. It can be done at work, it can be done in morning, at night, it can be done in class, outside of class, it can be done while we're driving. So that means we can be practicing 24 hours a day. So it's a wonderful way of increasing your practice time that you're doing, your practice of Systema. You actually can do it through the breathing. And it also, it feels wonderful. It's one of those really important things that will benefit all aspects of your life. So watch the next series of videos. I'll explain in more detail in those videos about a good starting point to understand your breath training, because it can get very complex, but it doesn't have to be. It can be quite simple. I mean, I've been practicing my breathing now for at least 20 years, meaning consciously with the deliberate practice, and it's wonderful. I find the simplest sometimes the best way of practicing it. So watch the next series of videos, and if you have questions at any time, just reach out to me and I'll help answer your questions. Watch the videos. Hey everyone, Emmanuel again. Okay, so breathing, basics. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and I usually like starting from either a seated position or lying down, or just a comfortable position, okay? And you wanna make sure that the body is just kind of comfortable wherever you're sitting and relaxed, good posture, head looking straight, not kind of down. And simply inhale through the nose comfortably, and then exhale through the mouth comfortably. So in, out. And just even doing that without anything other than just bringing awareness to the inhale and the exhale, okay, is already a wonderful step. But let's talk about, so you do that, I would do that practice for at least 2 to 5 minutes without changing anything other than what is my normal breath cycle. And what you might find for most of us is quite shallow, maybe only breathing in for 2-3 seconds and out for 2-3 seconds. So what we want to do now is start maybe stretching that. And counting is the easiest way that I know of accomplishing this. So let's follow along. I'm going to breathe in through my nose for just 1 second and breathe out through my mouth for 1 second. And then I'm going to do 2 seconds in through my nose, 2 seconds out through my mouth, 3 seconds in from my nose, 3 seconds out through my mouth, 4 seconds in through my nose, 4 seconds out through my mouth. 5 seconds in from my nose. 5 seconds out through my mouth. And you do that kind of escalation as high as you can go, okay? And of course, the higher up you go, the more air is coming in and the more air is coming out. That's going to cause your body to kind of tense up or be uncomfortable. It's key that you relax as much as you can to take in the air, and also relax as much as you can to get out the air. Don't stress yourself out to do this. Just find the maximum that you can bring in and breathe out with feeling some uncomfort, not necessarily trauma. And it gets really interesting 10 in, 10 out. That's a good benchmark to where you'll start to feel challenged. You might not make it to 5. I don't know. If your breathing is quite shallow, then that might be a stretch. That's fine. The more you practice this, the more you'll be able to get in and get out. For my own practice, it's closer towards 20 to 27. In and above there is when it gets, it's different day to day for me. So you want to practice this. So it's like an escalation of breathing, step by step up, step by step down. And then I always bring myself back down. So if I go to 10 in, 10 out, I'll work my way at 9, 8, 7. So I work my way up and I work my way down through the scale. And then when I finish that kind of like scale, I go back to regular breathing. And what you will find is what was like your baseline or regular breathing has now stretched. You all of a sudden, maybe if you could only do 3 in, 3 out, now all of a sudden you find that you're able to do 4 or 5 in and out, quite comfortable. And you also might find that maybe you didn't get in a higher number, but the breath that you got felt smoother, smelled more calm, felt more natural. You'll find that there'll be nuances that will change. Pay attention, that's really important. So this kind of step-by-step escalation of breathing in and out, but keeping them equal, is a great place to, is a great way of starting to bridge and begin your journey into your breath training, okay? Next video, we'll kind of go into the next level of that, which is basically triangle breathing. So I'll look forward to that in the video to come. Hey everyone, Emmanuel here. Okay, so you did the escalation breathing from 1 to whatever number you can make it to, and then from that number down. Now we're gonna try a type of breathing called triangle breathing. And what it does is it starts to integrate breath holds. Now, so follow along with me. So I breathe in for 1 second. I breathe out for 1 second. I hold my breath for 1 second. Breathe in for 2 seconds. Breathe out for 2 seconds. Hold for 2 seconds. In for 3. Out for 3. Hold for 3. In for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. In for 5. Out for 5. Hold for 5. Good. So, and again, you take that up to as high as you can, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever number you can. What you'll find is that inhale and exhale are a little bit different, and hold is a little different. So the saying goes, any inhalation is a labor, so it's tough to breathe in, and any exhalation is a relaxation, which is a little easier to let air out, and a breath hold is just not good, but doesn't feel great. It feels like you're starving your body of what it wants, which is really what's happening. So those 3 things, while they're different, the not the trick, but the focus for me is to not hate the inhale, or like dislike the inhale, love the exhale, and hate the hold. It's to kind of make those it's to kind of make those three things equal. So don't love one or the other. Just see them as part of a cycle that you're practicing. Again, you want to be careful with the breath holds and pay attention to how you're feeling. If you have high blood pressure or high heart rates and things like that, you want to make sure that you're just watching some of those metrics. I wear a heart rate monitor. Just I have it on my watch, and I love just checking where my heart rate's at. Because you're really changing some of those things when you're practicing breath training, and you want to see what the effects are. So, like all things in athletics, you always want to monitor when you try something what effect it had on you. So the triangle breathing, a wonderful complement, and I like practicing those maybe like every other week or something. Like I don't have a set pattern, but I throw it into my regular training of like inhale and exhale. I find it challenges me. It provides a level of challenge that the escalation breathing might not have, and it pushes me a little bit further to understanding the breath holds. Okay, now, so practice that, and again, see what its effects are, and stay tuned. The next one is square breathing. Hey everyone, Emmanuel here again. Okay, square breathing. So square breathing. So it goes a little something like this. So it's let's say we'll start. I mean, you can start it at 1, I guess. So I inhale for 1, hold for 1, out for 1, hold for 1. In for 2, hold for 2, out for 2, hold for 2. In for 3, hold for 3, out for 3, hold for 3. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. So you get the idea. So square breathing is a wonderful way if you're stressed or you're trying to calm down very quickly from a very stressful ordeal. So, I mean, it's something that, we don't have to necessarily, we don't have to go looking for trouble. I mean, we all have these moments of intense stress, whether it happens when we're driving and somebody cuts us off or something, or argument with somebody somewhere, a surprising argument, or some stressor in life. This kind of breathing really does neutralize you. It doesn't bring you up or down. It just kind of irons you out, per se, one way I can express it. I find it very good when I'm in athletic competitions where there's a lot of pressure, where especially the pressure to perform well exists. When you're in those situations, you want to be careful. You want to calm down, but you don't want to calm down too much. You need to calm down, but still have a high level of arousal to be able to compete or to be able to do what you need to do at that moment. Professionals know this, military, police. They need to be ready, but they also need to be very calm. So the square breathing is very good for that. I find that it can iron me or calm, but still keep me at a good level that I'm serious enough and focused enough to keep my mind where it needs to be. So ready, but not worried is the good phrase to think about. So triangle breathing, wonderful stuff. Again, I wouldn't say I practice it all the time. That one I save for those special occasions when something catches me off guard and upsets me. So life is happening to us, guys. It is training, but life is also training. So when those moments happen in life, and as they do all the time, try that and see if it works. Because that's my biggest thing, is taking what I learned into the real world. I always tell students, don't get good at practice. Get good at applying what you've learned and in life. That's where it serves us the most benefit, okay? So I will now show you the last one because again, I want to keep this simple. Breathing can be super complicated, but I want to try to keep it simple for everybody to kind of understand in the simplicity and in lots of consistency, you'll learn so much. So the last one is coming up next, which is how to deal with inconsistent patterns. Look forward to it. Hey everyone, okay, the last video on breathing, keeping it simple version, is now erratic breathing. So basically it is changing the tempos. So it's maybe I will inhale for 2 seconds, I'll exhale for 4 seconds, I'll hold for 10. I'll breathe in for 5, out for 1, hold for 3. In for 1, out for 6, hold for 4. So you see that. So what I'm doing is now is in real world, our breathing can become erratic depending on the activity. So busy malls, different things that are happening. Life doesn't happen ideally. It happens as it happens, and sometimes our breathing is interrupted, so it's not allowed to be as smooth. Ideally, we would like it to be smooth, but it could be in a heated argument. It could be in anything that you're doing that doesn't allow for a smooth breath. You know how to operate. More importantly, the breathing that is random like that, it allows me to understand the effects of randomness, right? So it's like if you have a very nice calm morning, let's say you go on a vacation for a week and everything is beautiful, your mornings are wonderful, there's no work, you eat what you want, you exercise, you enjoy the sun, you're completely relaxed, and then you come back to life a week later and you start to see how random it is. Like, I get up this, I got this phone call, I got that email, I got this, and all of a sudden you realize, wow, look at the effects of this. Like, when I'm left alone, this is how I am. And then when real life happens, it's more chaotic. The trick now is, how do you merge that ideal world with the one that's chaotic? How do you blend it so that you don't have to go away for a vacation, but that you can bring the vacation to your life? So breathing in ideal situations on my own, but then I come to train at Systema and somebody's wrestling with me or we're sparring, and our focus is a little bit more on the activity, not on the breathing, because that's how life works, right? Our attention is grabbed by what's more serious at that moment. And when we're fighting or things like that, as we're training, we kind of forget to breathe. And you won't think about it. You'll train yourself that what it feels like. I know that my breathing is off before I think about it. My body feels like it's not right. So erratic breathing allows you to see what your body feels like when you're breathing, but not breathing right, or not breathing optimally, or not breathing correctly, if you want to, for lack of a better word. So it's a wonderful practice that has real life applications, because when somebody's hell bent on grabbing you and twisting you and making you a pretzel and wrestling, I mean, it's one thing to have ideal. So that's not an ideal situation to practice breathing, but it is a good challenge. And you want to make sure that in the middle of all that, you do somehow manage to keep your breathing. And I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen this in high-level athletics where somebody's just run sprints in football or something, and then he's coming back, he's trying to get his breath back. So some activities normally destroy our breathing, but then give us a window of opportunity to get it back. Like hockey, you come on for a hockey shift, you come on the bench and you got to recover. The same in our training and fighting. We might do something that takes our breathing in some way, but then there's always a moment where we can regain it, but we have to focus on regaining it. If we just focus on, just calming down without breathing, then we won't get good at breathing. So the activity of practicing good breath and then studying what happens when we lose it and also how to get it back quickly is another aspect of training, okay? Because things do take our breath and we need to get it back, that's all. So again, random breathing practice, an inhale, an exhale, and a hold, keeping those numbers different will help teach you kind of how it happens in real life or martial arts or real life in the world. Nothing goes smoothly. So interesting practice, try it and see how it works. I hope these series of videos kind of give you a bridgeway as to how to practice with this stuff. Do this for 6 months to a year before you ever start adding more complexities. what I showed you in these series of videos is more than enough for a lifetime to teach you everything you need to teach. It'll build awareness, it'll build strength, it'll give you calmness, and you'll see all that you need to see to make the adjustments in your life that are necessary, okay? Enjoy the videos, guys. And as always, if you have questions, just reach out. Thank you.